So, Don, we've been talking about acceptance and particularly the conditions we put on people, whether we're aware of it or not. And I'm really impressed with the way that you can get close to people who usually aren't the sort of highlights of society and really relate to them. Don't you find it, I mean, most people have conditions. They say, I'll talk to this person, not that person. What goes on in you?
Well, I think it's come out of experiences that were dark for me, things done and not done, and I guess in trying to understand myself and try to find the humanity in me has led me to not just saying somebody who's obviously in pain, the thing is, I for a moment put myself in that person's shoes, and I say, if somebody's going to come up to me and empathize, well, I wouldn't want sympathy. I'd rather have empathy, because generally then if it's empathy, you have somebody sit down with you and discuss a little bit of the pain, and obviously whether
so feeling sorry for somebody is not the issue. It's more like understanding where they're coming from and being able to share that space, and for them to feel understood. Gives you a connection which otherwise doesn't normally come.
And I guess also, kind of thinking for myself, what are the things that I'll leave behind? And not meaning necessarily when I'm dead, but when I leave a person behind with his situation, am I just like sort of like a doctor where I just prescribe medication, go home and take it, if you're alive still on Monday, give me a call, otherwise I guess I won't hear from you again. And I think for me the thing is, I don't feel that often people have bothered to hear what I say, and I think it's probably general. None of us, I think my experience of people out in the really hustle bustle of life, it's almost like you've got to compete for sympathy, or you've got to compete before people turn and say, hey, well, that guy, sure, he's quite sharp, or we can use him for this and we can use him in the business for that. I just think of my darker experiences. I know what I wanted and I never got, and it left me with a mind full of pain, if you want to call it that. So and I guess also the last 15 years of my life with the stuff that's happened and not happened, for me, there's so many things that I could have done if somebody maybe had been positive or shown, delegated some, not necessarily delegated a job, but just heard me and then thought, hey, this guy's good at something. And then next thing I've got myself a coach. I never had a coach in life. I never had a coach in school, and I think I lost something, because I think a lot of us tend to just roll with what there is and hope we come out in the wash. And as long as you haven't cut somebody's head off or killed too many people, then you can consider yourself having well lived. If you have grandchildren, and that in its own right is a marker of a race, but there are. So my I think it's pretty much that, and it's also kind of, when I'm doing this, I'm also very aware of my own shortcomings, and it's chatting to somebody who's obviously in a dire situation. I'm almost hearing the question that I'm talking, or when I'm speaking with the person, I'm also speaking to myself.
Yeah.
And it's whether or not I get I think that experience in itself is very cathartic. It gives me more, a sense of humanity gives me far more to live for.
Yeah.
Just availing your time, and it's quite funny. It's ironic that you would think, if you lived on another planet in another universe or another galaxy, you would think, well, why do these people fight so much? If I was an alien, I wouldn't want to come live on this planet, that's for sure. I mean, see the track record. And I often think God must, I always think God must sit there and sometimes wonder, these little ants on this planet, what has He created?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of positive stuff that comes out of people caring for people.
Yeah.
And the few and far between cases in this world that have truly stuck out in the humanitarian skills and done it for nothing, and probably the world would say, oh, what a waste, this person could have been a billionaire by the time she was 50. What a waste,
Yeah.
All she wanted to do was just clean up the poor,
Yeah.
give them food.
But this idea of accepting another, of accepting others, is really a measure of our humanity, because not a measure in the sort of sense of a function, but it's really what makes us who we are, or what deprives us of who we are. Because in associating with others, in understanding and sympathizing and empathizing and having compassion, we really extend ourselves and share that space with the other, and become far more communal and relational than just sort of living in our own little, as they say, silo and doing our own thing because we're okay.
Yeah. And it's kind of ironic. I've found that I've had some experience in the past with Jehovah's Witnesses and Jewish people in another setting, and the thing that I'm always admire in their case is that they do really care for each other. I mean, I had a friend who was a Jehovah's Witness, and she went to live in another part of the world, and she had nothing, but the Jehovah's Witness people felt it part of the whole calling to deck out this person's flat with all the trimmings. He has a bed, he has clothes, he has sheets, he has a washing machine, he has everything. And I do get a little bit despondent, although I'm going off the track now. But I wish we could all be a Mother Teresa in certain ways, but I think if we could all do something for a fraction of a second in our life in a totally unselfish way, there's got to be more richness out of that little happening, which would last us 5 lifetimes. Often we don't see it. We think we see it. We think we're doing the important stuff. But if I go on about this subject, then it's going to sound like I'm just giving myself a good excuse not to do anything, see, because I don't want to live constrained and tied down and,
And as you say, the talking must lead to action. I think there's so much to talk around that it becomes almost embarrassing when the action is totally lacking.
Yeah.
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 Thanks,
Yeah.
Don. Nice to talk about
Yeah.
acceptance. Yeah, and I really appreciate the way you talk to people who don't normally get much acceptance in society.
Well, you know, I mean, very much what is happening in their cases. I'm also undergoing some almost medical, psychological word of tender love and care. So when I chat to somebody and they talk about what they did yesterday, or you know, they haven't slept on a bed in 10 years, you know, I really try to just understand how that would feel in my case.
Yeah.
So that when I talk to people in those situations, that I really just truly understand it. Because I know a few friends of mine that their big love and their biggest haters, when they've had nothing and they've gone to somebody who obviously could help because they're pretty well off,
Yeah.
that person has said, oh, well, you know, money's not everything. I mean, I said, yeah, I agreed with him. I said, money's everything if you haven't got 1 cent in your pocket.
Yeah.
Trust me. If you're a multi-billionaire, money's nothing.
Yeah.
Not an end in itself. But so it's just trying to understand. Since I'm having a chat with a person who's probably worse off than me,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to give that whole conversation a real
Connection.
touch,
Yeah.
a real connection.
Yeah.
Not that I necessarily will learn anything ultimately from it. I hope I do, and I hope they get something off their chest. But it's nice when humans stop and just chat to each other.
Yeah.
You know, talk about the stuff, the loves, the hates, the drama, the you know, whatever.
Yeah. Thanks, Don.
Yeah, pleasure.
Thanks, guys.